Ukrainian Abrams tanks break through to Pokrovsk video. December 24, 2025.
Wow. I mean, what a headline to wake up to. That suggests something huge is happening.
It really does. And before we unpack what's actually going on, a quick reminder. Subscribe to Defense Reports. It's your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex. Join me with Arya in the latest Deep Dive by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdown of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments.
And today, we are definitely going to need that no-nonsense approach.
We are, because we're going to cover the reality behind those incredibly dramatic reports from the Pokrovsk direction.
Our mission today is really to go beyond just the battle map. We're going to unpack the fiercely debated status of Ukraine's most critical Western armor. We're talking about the M1 Abrams, and dissect this deliberate information war that's being waged right alongside the shooting war.
And here's the cliffhanger for you, the thing that really defines this whole brutal fight. We're diving into a city, Pokrovsk, that the New York Times described as being turned largely into rubble.
A place where Ukrainian forces are fighting outnumbered by, what, as much as 8-1?
Exactly. But the battle isn't just fought with artillery, it's fought with headlines. Even the status of these powerful M1 Abrams tanks has become a battleground. So we have to ask, what is Russia's true military objective here, and why is the status of this high-value equipment so fiercely contested in the media?
Okay, let's start with Section 1, the military stakes. The reality on the ground in Pokrovsk.
Right.
This region has been, the absolute focal point of fighting since early August. The Ukrainian commander-in-chief, Alexander Syrskyi, he confirmed it himself.
He said this defensive line, from Hrdivka to Novorodivka, is the most active sector on the entire front.
And active is putting it mildly. When you hear a major outlet say the city's been turned largely into rubble, that's the real cost of holding this line.
But this isn't just about holding territory for the sake of it. Moscow sees huge strategic and economic value here.
Precisely. Pokrovsk is, first and foremost, a key logistics hub. Its capture would open up supply lines for Russia deeper into Donetsk. But the real prize, the one that affects Ukraine's ability to sustain its war economy.
That's the Pishane coking coal plant.
Yes, that's the economic jugular.
And the ripple effect if that plant is lost? It's just staggering, isn't it?
It is. The head of Ukraine's Steelmakers Association estimated that losing that plant would cause Ukrainian steel production to just plummet.
From what, a projected 7.5 million metric tons?
Down to maybe 2 or 3 million. And look, that isn't just an abstract number for a spreadsheet. That's critical wartime industrial output.
You're talking about the material to actually fight the war.
Exactly. For an economy already under so much strain, this is an attempt to land an economic knockout punch, all disguised as a simple territorial offensive.
And then there's the political pressure. We saw that comparison from former soldier Sean Pinner. He said for Putin, it's like the Waterloo campaign.
He absolutely needs a significant military trophy before winter sets in, for domestic consumption, for the propaganda machine.
That need for a symbolic win explains why Russia is pouring such immense resources into this one spot.
The resources are enormous. It puts the Ukrainian defenders under just unbelievable strain.
President Zelensky admitted it back in late October. He said his troops were outnumbered 8-1 in that area.
8-1. And for the whole eastern Donetsk offensive, Russia reportedly gathered 170,000 troops.
170,000? That sounds like the setup for a complete collapse of the line.
It does, but that's not what the deeper reporting suggests is happening. Ukrainian forces are making Russia bleed for ground.
And we have some numbers on that, right? The claimed Russian casualties in the Pokrovsk direction are, 14,000 to 15,000 a month?
Per month, including about 7,000 killed in action. These are horrific losses.
Which brings us to a really crucial point from the Institute for the Study of War, the ISW.
Yes, they've synthesized this perfectly. Despite the massive numbers and the pressure, Russian gains are constrained to a slow foot pace.
A slow foot pace. So this is positional warfare. Grinding, brutal, and incredibly costly for the attacker.
Exactly. The ISW notes there's no indication of a sudden operational level breakthrough. No deep penetration, no collapsing front. They've optimized for attrition, and any claims of a collapse are They're part of a cognitive warfare effort.
And that idea of a grinding, slow-paced war is the perfect way to get into Section 2.
Right.
The huge controversy around Ukraine's highest-profile Western armor. Because if you're measuring gains in feet, you absolutely need your best gear, like the M1 Abrams, to hold that line.
You do. And this is where the battlefield and the information war just slam into each other.
It all started with that Associated Press report, 2 U.S. military officials.
Right. They claimed that Ukraine had sidelined the Abrams tanks, and they gave a very specific reason.
Russian drone warfare. They said it had made it just too difficult for the Abrams to operate without being detected and attacked.
But the Ukrainians on the ground, the ones actually using the tanks, they pushed back hard and fast.
That was the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade. They operate the Abrams.
And they call the rumors fake. They emphasized the tank's strength, its versatility, and they offered a counter-narrative.
They said if any tanks were pulled back, it was just for a normal rest and rotation cycle for the brigade itself, not because of drones.
And you have to see the political angles here. They're critical. For the U.S. government, framing this as a technical issue with drones, well, it protects the reputation of their very expensive, high-value equipment.
The machine isn't faulty, the environment is too difficult.
Exactly. But if Ukraine accepts that narrative, it's a huge propaganda win for Russia. It suggests the West's best tank is obsolete against their cheap tech.
So Ukraine has to refute it for morale, for international confidence. But it does raise a question. If the U.S. story is masking, say, a training or a deployment issue, doesn't that make future aid requests more difficult if the truth comes out?
It creates a dangerous gap between perception and reality. And the confirmed facts, well, they complicate things even more.
This is the Military Watch magazine report.
Right. They reported on footage that confirms at least 2 Abrams tanks have been destroyed by Russian forces near Pokrovsk. So there's a definite, undeniable operational impact happening.
Which brings up a more fundamental question for the modern battlefield. Is this drone vulnerability actually a new thing for heavy armor? Or is this just an old problem with a new face?
It is absolutely the latter. Just with new technology, unsupported tanks have always been vulnerable.
Right. Historically, it was a hidden anti-tank gun or infantry with rockets.
And today, the threat is the FPV drone, the first-person view drone. These are cheap commercial drones turned into highly precise, disposable suicide bombers.
And the operator gets a live video feed so they can aim for the weakest spots.
Precisely. They can target the thin top and rear armor, which isn't designed to stop that kind of hit. A tank's strength is its frontal armor.
So the problem isn't the Abrams itself, but the lack of, say, electronic warfare and air support to clear out these tiny, cheap threats coming from above. It's a doctrine failure, not an engineering one.
You've nailed it. It completely changes the battlefield. It's no longer about a few expensive specialized missiles like a Javelin. It's about swarms of cheap tech that rely on operator skill. That environment demands totally different tactics for heavy armor.
And that need to adapt brings us right into Section 3. This is about the battle being waged completely off the physical battlefield.
The broader cognitive warfare campaign, or as the ISW calls it, Phase 0.
Phase 0, what does that mean exactly?
Phase 0 is the term for the informational, the psychological groundwork the Kremlin lays. The goal is simple: sow doubt, create fatigue in the West, and ultimately reduce international support for Ukraine.
And they do it by exploiting real military events or, Western political divisions.
Yes, it's a vast, relentless, and very sophisticated campaign. We're talking deepfakes, manipulated media, totally fabricated reports.
You can see it in how they try to degrade military morale. For instance, the fake news claiming the Azov Brigade used footage from the Call of Duty video game.
Right, in a video about storming Russian positions near Pokrovsk. It's a blatant attempt to make real combat footage look fake, to invalidate their successes.
And they're constantly trying to flip reality on its head.
The Kursk operation's a perfect example. Russian media made up reports that Bloomberg said the operation was the most unjustified military operation in terms of losses.
Just a complete fabrication.
A total fabrication. VoxCheck, the fact-checking group, refuted it immediately. The real analysts cited said the opposite, that the operation boosted morale and proved Ukraine's strategic initiative. The whole point is to poison the well of information.
And these fakes also target the Ukrainian home front, especially mobilization.
Oh, constantly. A steady stream of fake videos trying to discredit the mobilization process.
Things like manipulative cartoons questioning the idea of duty or staged videos of fights with recruitment officers.
And even claims of forced mobilization of foreign citizens. It's all designed to create internal panic and a distrust of the government.
The cognitive war also has a major focus on discrediting Western support and its leaders.
A huge focus. They generate deepfakes aimed at the highest levels. AI-generated audio targeting Kamala Harris during the U.S. election cycle, for example.
There was also that really detailed fake report saying Vice President-elect J.D. Vance refused to speak to Andrei Yermak.
Yes. And they even fake the Wall Street Journal's branding to make it look legitimate.
Yeah.
It's all designed to make it look like Western support is crumbling from the very top.
And the attacks on European solidarity get almost absurd. They're designed to fatigue the average person seeing this stuff on social media.
Like the fabricated story about French farmers dumping manure at the Ukrainian embassy.
Or that fake German fast food ad that urged people to talk about something more important than Ukraine. It's this constant dripping poison designed to make everyone just get tired of it all.
And we can't ignore the really personal attacks, especially on President Zelensky and his family.
The goal there is just to attack the legitimacy of the entire government, right?
Exactly. You had that widely spread fake story about Olena Zelenska buying a Bugatti for 4.5 million euros. They even created a fake error-filled invoice for it.
It's malicious. And then there's the darker stuff.
Much darker. Propagandists fabricated a video claiming a Ukrainian intelligence sniper was killing pensioners near Pokrovsk, a classic, disgusting tactic to paint the Ukrainian military as war criminals.
Okay, so after analyzing the strategy, the equipment, the relentless info war, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Let's bring this to a close with our final takeaways.
The main thing to understand is that the battle for Pokrovsk is a dual-front conflict. It's not one thing.
On the ground, it's a brutal, grinding war of attrition. We're talking slow, foot-pace advances for Russia with massive, massive casualties.
And that physical battle is magnified by the Phase Zero information campaign that is simultaneously attacking every single pillar of Ukrainian resistance and Western support.
So the relevance for us as we see these headlines is that we need to be extremely vigilant. You have to actively filter the information you're getting.
The real operational picture is that the front lines are not collapsing, despite the odds. The goal of all this cognitive warfare is to make you believe in an inevitable Russian victory, to use fatigue and doubt to win a political victory that their forces can't seem to achieve militarily.
So I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. It builds on some of the organizational realities that were touched on in our source material.
Go on.
This grinding battle for Pokrovsk has exposed some serious internal issues. We saw reports about 2 Ukrainian brigades, the 155th and 157th, that suffered from major problems, desertion, poor training.
The 155th was trained in France, and hundreds of its soldiers reportedly went AWOL before even getting to the front.
Right. Now, Russia uses these incidents as pure propaganda, of course, but what are the real lasting operational implications for the European partners who are tasked with this monumental effort of training and equipping new Ukrainian units?
How do NATO countries effectively adapt their training when they face these profound challenges in morale and discipline once these units actually enter the combat zone? It's a huge question with no easy answers.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry.
Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.